It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and it's time for Oktoberfest again, 2024. Aldi, 26th of September, have launched these beers and these snacks for Oktoberfest. Some of them are Oktoberfest beers, others are beers that Aldi have got from Germany that have come in at a decent price point. Some of them are not. So let's take Spaten for example. You can pick this beer up all year round in big Sainsbury's stores. In fact, I picked up a couple in Cardiff the other week. Spaten Oktoberfest, you can pick up at beersofeurope.co.uk. But then we do have, looking at it, there's two. We've got Erdinger Oktoberfest. Now this is I find this a fantastic beer, this one. This one's coming in 5.7% ABV. And then you've got Paulaner over here, Paulaner Oktoberfest beer, 6% ABV. And the other beers, so these beers are coming in between £1.99 and £2.50. The £2.50 beers were the Benediktiner. So we've got the Weissbier at 5.4% ABV. And their Hell coming in at 5% ABV. The Benediktiner beers are not Oktoberfest beers, but they're beers that are quite difficult to get in the UK. This will be Aldi, being a German company, working their magic and bringing over some decent, proper German beer. So I suggest whilst it's in the stores, you pick it up. It's worth a go. They're decent beers. The other things that so I picked up all of these yesterday in Aldi. Thank you very much to the lovely lady who let me have these beers early, one day early. She was really helpful. But some of you might know that Aldi contacted me recently and through their communications company and said, do you want to review some Oktoberfest stuff? And it was the kind of Rheinbacher Pilsner, Rheinbacher Weissbier that they sent, but a load of food. So these are currywurst sausage crinkle cut crisps. These are about £1.50 a bag. Bratwurst sausage flavour crinkle cut crisps, 150 grams. You get where they're going with this. Salted giant pretzels. I don't know how much they are. I don't know, to be honest, but they've got Oktoberfest written on them. And they sent me a bag of mixed nuts. So, without further ado, let's get going. Let's get into this. So, we're going to open up. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to open up the beers, show them, see what they look like. Let's start off with the Paulaner. Now, I have already reviewed this year's beer, the Paulaner Oktoberfest. That was done with our channel sponsor, beersofeurope.co.uk. But of course, I've got no problem whatsoever doing it again. I do like Oktoberfest. I do like the Oktoberfest beers. I think they're fantastic. 2 to 3 finger, slightly off-white head, good levels of carbonation, a deep amber clear coloured beer. Let's put things together so we know which is which. Let's get out the Benediktiner Hell then. I'm not sure if I've reviewed this beer. Here's the bottle cap. So this will be a German beer that you'll be able to buy all year round. and enjoy all year round. It's not necessarily just Oktoberfest. This is a Helles lager, a slightly kind of, I call it a slightly kind of dumbed down Pilsner Helles. That's my easy description for it. But there it is. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? I want to get straight into this one. Should we be cheeky? No, let's pour them out. We can wait to taste. Desperate to taste. One finger whitehead, good levels of carbonation, amber, clear coloured beer in the glass. Slightly lighter in colour to the Oktoberfest. Actually, it's quite similar. Let's get all the lagers out. Spaten. There's the bottle cap. Wouldn't it be great if Aldi, being a German supermarket, having German connections, it wouldn't take them long, would it, to get the knowledge together to... Can you imagine if Aldi decided to start bringing over these sorts of beers all year round and really pushing their heritage? And they're probably reluctant to do it because they want to see themselves as a British supermarket that sells British sausages, and they sell German sausages too, but it's generally, out of the two between Lidl and Aldi, I would say Lidl are a little bit more proud of their German heritage. Lidl have got lots of the kind of bratwursts and different styles of sausages, and they're a little bit more kind of like rooted into the German heritage, whereas Aldi are kind of morphing into becoming another big UK supermarket with great things in there. Great thing. I mean, you can buy some decent lagers in there and whatnot. But wouldn't it be good if they used their heritage, their knowledge, their connections to bring some really good German beer to the UK? I think it'd be a strong selling point. One finger whitehead, good levels of carbonation, amber coloured beer, light amber straw coloured beer. That's the Spaten. So now we're into the Weissbiers. So, ooh. Oh, right, okay. I don't have 3 Weissbier glasses, so I'm going to have to put a Weissbier in a tall, long German jug, which is going to upset me a little bit, but hey-ho. We'll stick the regular old Erdinger Weissbier in there. This beer, you can pick it up everywhere. That is an everywhere beer. Tesco's, believe you can pick it up in Morrison's. For Aldi to put this in their Oktoberfest range, yeah, it's a little bit kind of... It's not really that exciting, is it, Erdinger Weissbier? It's a beer that you can pick up in the UK everywhere. Amber in colour, 4-finger whitehead, hazy amber beer. Right. Now this is a Weissbier glass. This is a proper German Weissbier glass from ABK. Let's stick the... Oh, that's interesting. One's got etching on the bottom. Just going to have to make a guess of this as to which is lower in the carbonation. Let's go with the Erdinger, shall we? This is the Erdinger Oktoberfest beer. I think this come in at about £2.52, £2.50, as well as the Benediktiner. But what I'm trying to say here is that it's 5.8% ABV, so it's higher in the ABV. So what you want to do with a Weissbier, that last inch or so of beer, give it a good whirl round and chuck it in your glass. There you go. That's all your lovely bits of sediment. Now, this is one of my favourite Oktoberfest beers because I love Weissbier. Three-finger whitehead on that one. Benediktiner Weissbier, 5.4. There's the bottle cap. Oh, look at this, doesn't it? This looks like milk. Oh my goodness me, this looks like dreamland beer. Oh, I've had all the beers out of the fridge about 10-15 minutes as to warm up a little bit so I can enjoy them malt flavours. When you cool beer down too much, you start to lose a little bit of that malt quality in the beer. And that's what I found over my experience anyway. So I like to warm my beers up a little bit. One finger whitehead, good levels of carbonation. Look at this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful looking beer. I want to start with it and drink it and drink everything else. So we're going to start, I think we're going to start with the Benediktiner, the Hell. 5%, beautiful looking beer. Head's dissipated a little bit, but lovely carbonation. Here we go, aroma. Beautiful. A little bit of sweet malt in there. But a crispness. Not Christmas. A little bit peppery and spicy. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So crisp, beautiful dryness coming through, crisp and dry, and a little bit of sweetness there, peppery, spicy bitterness on the back end. A beer that you could drink all afternoon on a sunny weekend afternoon in a beer garden in Germany. Or get yourselves to Aldi and buy 5 bottles of the Benediktiner Hell and just, you know, I think we're going to have a pretty decent weekend this weekend, some parts of the country. Get yourself out in your garden, cool your beers down, cool this down and just enjoy. Get yourself, maybe try some of these crisps. Maybe get some real bratwurst or currywurst. But definitely get the pretzels. That's definite Oktoberfest is the pretzels. I'm going back in. It's wonderful. Oh, that is such a good beer. That is just... I've moved away, sadly. Sadly, I've moved away from all these kind of supermarket. I'll review them. But it's not where my heart is anymore. Look at that. It might be magnificent from Tiny Rabbit. It might really be magnificent. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. But for me, this is the way forward. For me, is this wonderful, crisp German lagers and beers and Weissbiers and Dunkels, and they just know what they're doing. Next up, Spaten. Spade, shovel, 5.2% ABV. Pick this up in Sainsbury's all year round if you like. I'm not locked in with Aldi. I did do the unboxing. You know, I'll always be an independent guy, me. I'll always tell you guys where you can buy the beer. This is good beers too. The Spaten is I believe it's AB InBev, but it's Spaten Franciscana Brewing Company or Spaten Franciscana Brewery. So they produce the Franciscana Weissbier too. Oh, brilliant. Spicy, peppery, a little bit of sweetness. Let's go. It's good. It's malty, it's crisp, it's clean. But it doesn't quite have, even though it's a brilliant beer, the Spaten, it doesn't quite have that clinical crispness of the Benediktiner Hell. The Benediktiner Hell just has this wonderful, clinical, clean, refreshing crispness to it. Just beautiful, wonderful. The Spaten is a lovely beer. It is. It's just, I'd say it's a little bit more malty, a little bit more sweet. It's just not quite there for me. It's just not quite as good as the Benediktiner Hell. But it's cheaper. It's cheaper than the Benediktiner. It's about 50 pence a bottle cheaper. Where are we going next? Paulaner. Paulaner 6% Oktoberfest beer. Heads dissipated a little bit, good levels of carbonation, amber beer in the glass, aroma. Yeah, it's solid, isn't it? It's kind of you can really taste the grain in this beer. The biscuity, wafer-like grain is fantastic. Carbonation pushes the beer on the inside of the mouth. A little bit of sweetness to begin with to go with that grain. A little punchy bitterness on the back end. It's great. It's great beer. It's a little step up from the Spaten too. Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I loved the Spaten Oktoberfest beer. I thought that was fantastic. The regular Spaten, I'm going to have one more. Tell you what, I'll have a quick taste of each one because I'm enjoying it. Benediktiner. Oh, it's so good. Spaten. Just a little bit more. It's just got a little bit more mouthfeel. It's just got a little bit more, like a creaminess to it. Creamy, malty, more kind of wafer biscuity like taste coming through, and it's a little bit sweeter. Than your Paulaner Oktoberfest. Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, they're the lagers done. Should we rate the lagers while I'm here, and then we'll rate the Weissbiers? There's no real format to this. On this occasion, Spaten gets an 8 out of 10. Paulaner gets a 9. The Benediktiner Hell gets a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It's just got that kind of clinical, clean edge to it. It's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant beer. Right. We're going to start off now. Oh, I didn't get a chance to throw the last bit of yeasty goodness in from the Erdinger. Here is the Erdinger, as I say, available all year round in the UK. in most of the big supermarkets. Two finger whitehead, hazy, straw coloured beer. Quite sweet. A little bit of banana, a little bit of clove. So the yeast, let me be clear with this, the yeast is offering the flavour of the banana and the clove. It's a special German yeast strain that's been, it's a big secret in German brewing. They can just produce this beer over and over again and get it to such a unique standard of flavour and taste and quality. It's clove and banana, but it's not from hops. There's hops in the beer, but it's generally from the yeast that you get this banana and the clove flavour. Cheers. A little bit, it's always been a little bit tutti frutti for me. It's always been regular Erdinger Weissbier. It's one of the beers, unfortunately, it's one of the beers I tend to leave on the shelf. I generally go Franziskaner. Franziskaner is my choice of Weissbier if I'm looking, if it's my birthday or, I'm looking for a good weekend. Franziskaner Weissbier is generally the one I put in my fridge. I find this just a little bit too sweet. But on the other hand, Erdinger Oktoberfest, it's 5.7% ABV. Now I think this beer should be the beer that Erdinger called their Weissbier. Yes, it's higher in ABV compared to the 5.3% of the regular Erdinger, but this is beautiful. Look at the quality. Look at the two finger whitehead, beautiful looking beer. I find this a cut above, a class above. With it shows that Erdinger, if they wanted to, they could produce something like this all year round. A completely different Weissbier. Much more body, drier. The sweetness is not there. That tutti fruity sweetness is not there in the Oktoberfest. This is brilliant beer. I wait all year round. In fact, I've decided I'm gonna go to Aldi on the weekend. I'm gonna buy 10 bottles of Erdinger Oktoberfest, and I'm just gonna drink a couple every weekend, and that'll probably take me probably close to blooming Christmas, won't it? But a couple of Erdinger Oktoberfests, 2 of these every weekend. Beautiful. Lovely, creamy, rich mouthfeel. It's, for me personally, I think it's a beer drinker's Weissbier. It's just brilliant. It's just, Erdinger didn't get to where they were being the #1 Weissbier producer in the world for not knowing what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know how to produce top quality beer. They probably have made it to the top with the regular Erdinger Weissbier because of its sweetness. If you think of our palates these days, everybody's eating Oreos, everybody's eating Haribo sweets. Our palates are now so much sweeter than they used to be. So much sweeter. And Erdinger have jumped on that. They've jumped on that and they've made their regular Weissbier a bit tutti fruity, a bit too sweet for my liking. But it works for most people. Most people love that kind of like, ooh, that sweet gummy bear, like, you know. Me, I much prefer this. I'm going to take one more taste because it's brilliant. This is just class. This Erdinger Oktoberfest. Which leads me to the last beer. 5.4% ABV, so not much in the way of a difference. This is the Benediktiner Weissbier. I've not had this for a long time. Not for a long time. Look at the beautiful, look at the quality on that. Look at the colour, carbonation, great. You think, I've been talking, what, for 20 minutes? I poured this 20 minutes ago. Look at the quality of that head retention. Beautiful. Deep amber colour. The aroma's to die for. Bit of malt. Lots of banana, lots of spices, lots of clove. Love it. Here we go. It's good. It's excellent. It's excellent beer, but I'm going to pick up the Erdinger. I'm going to pick up the Erdinger Oktoberfest. See the difference in the colour? Erdinger looking more like a Weissbier. The Benediktiner Weissbier looking more like an ale, if I'm correct. Looking more like an ale. And it tastes more like an ale too. Side by side. Erdinger Oktoberfest versus Benediktiner Weissbier. It's class. It's class. It's good. It's malty. It's good mouthfeel. It's creamy. It's rich. Banana, cloves, spices. A little bit of bitterness on the back end. Carbonation pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth. It's got my gout in my foot. It's got my gout screaming at me. It's like, go on, get some more down you. Erdinger. It's quite difficult to get across. The Erdinger has a little bit of a... Erdinger Oktoberfest has a little bit less of that kind of creamy mouthfeel. But it's got that a little bit more of an elevated banana, clove and spice flavour going on. It's just... They've managed to nail it. I think what made, and this is just a guess, this is just me standing in my conservatory having a guess. I think Erdinger Oktoberfest probably made Erdinger. This was probably the beer that was made for the masses originally, and it was probably the beer, pardon me, that put Erdinger's name on the map. Not the original Weiss, not the kind of like standard Weissbier. The standard Weissbier is too sweet for me. But the Oktoberfest is the beer that I wouldn't be surprised if when people go to Oktoberfest, I've never been, I'd love to go. I can imagine the Erdinger tent being really full. Really full. People drinking the Oktoberfest, Erdinger Oktoberfest like it's milk. Spinning around on the rides, you know. All the stuff you do at Oktoberfest. And I can just imagine it being just the most amazing experience ever. drinking Erdinger Oktoberfest in Oktoberfest in Germany. Fantastic. But yes, I'm almost kind of like in a slightly tipsy daydream now, so I need to get my act together. Shall we rate the Weissbiers? So let's start with Erdinger Weissbier. A beer, sadly that I never buy. It's going to be a real kind of like hit home experience now, drinking this after drinking the other two. It's going to be like, ugh. Oh yeah, it's almost. And I've done this before. I put Erdinger Weissbier up against other Weissbiers, and I always start with the Erdinger because I always see it as the Weissbier that you feel sorry for. You slightly feel sorry for Erdinger Weissbier. So in the battle videos, I always go for it first. And, you know, pat it on the back, feel sorry for it a little bit, but at the same time, it's a 6 out of 10. Erdinger Weissbier at best, 6 out of 10. These two beers, I cannot stress enough. Get yourself to Aldi this weekend and buy them. They both, if you're a Weissbier fan, if you're a Helles Lager Oktoberfest, I mean, just go and have a whirl at Aldi this weekend. The Benediktiner Weissbier. It's really good. It really is. And if I was drinking this on its own, if I was giving this a single beer review on its own video, I'd be jumping from the rooftops telling you how great this beer is. It's perfect. Look at the lacing every time I take a sip out of that beer. Look at the carbonation. Hazy, beautiful looking beer. But it's just a bit ale-like. It's definitely Weissbier. It's definitely Weissbier. But it's leaning into the malt more than the Oktoberfest from Erdinger has done. And when you're leaning into the malt as much as the Benediktiner has, you start to take away a little bit from that banana and clove and spices. And you're almost like taking the polish. You know when you get a brand new car and you're like, oh, I'm going to go and take a brand new car and I'm going to take some wire wool to it and I'm going to take that sheen and that sparkle off that brand new car. You wouldn't want it, would you? You wouldn't want it. It's almost as if by adding the malt that they've added to the Benediktiner, that they've just taken the shine off of that kind of like what could have been a perfect Weissbier with that banana and that clove and them spices. So I give it an 8 out of 10, didn't I? 8 out of 10 for the Benediktiner. Erdinger Weissbier, Erdinger Oktoberfest. I just need to hold on now. It's like on a roller coaster now. White knuckles on a roller coaster. Come on, you can hang on in there and make a decent video out of this. Erdinger Oktoberfest. 5.7% ABV. Clear the shelves. Go to Aldi if you're watching this video and clear the shelves. It's beautiful, beautiful Weissbier. Nip to IKEA. If you can't find a Weissbier glass for the weekend, nip to IKEA. You can buy tall, skinny glasses similar to this in IKEA for cheap. Buy yourself some tall, skinny glasses. Pour your Erdinger Oktoberfest into that glass. and thank me later. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for the Erdinger Oktoberfest beer. Every year, because I got a terrible memory, I think, oh, I'm going to buy the Erdinger Oktoberfest. And I've, you know, it's a great beer. I know it is because I always rave about it, but I need to taste it again every year. It's always good to have a terrible memory in the beer game. Oh, I need to try it again because I've forgotten. Try that beer again every year. Erdinger Oktoberfest beer. And let your feelings known. Let your feelings known to Erdinger that their Oktoberfest is the best thing since sliced bread, and it should replace the regular Weissbier that they produce. Shall we now? We've rated the beer. You can hang along if you like for the snack part of the video. I'm going to start with the nuts. I'm going to start with the nuts because I'm a crisp lad. I'm a crisp boy. I like my saturated fat. But for some reason, when Aldi sent me this, I wouldn't pick these up in Aldi in a million years because I love crisps. But for some reason, this made perfect sense. When they sent that package with the glass, the branded glass, and the crisps and the regular Rheinbacher beers, this just seemed to make perfect sense. In a little paper bag. Look, what have we got? Oh, is that a walnut? I don't know. That's an almond. Oh, with the beer. This is the best thing ever. Now we're going to eat one of these. Oh, nuts and Weissbier and Haller Lager. Oh my goodness. Oh. Now we're going to eat this little alien thing, whatever it is. My goodness me, that's fantastic. Wash it down with some Benediktiner. It's like mouth. It's like the perfect. It's like my brain's on fire with flavour and taste. Salted pretzels. Reason why they're salted, probably to get you to drink more beer. Oh. Look at that. Look. Isn't that beautiful? Again, that's the salt. For me as a person that loves beer, again, it's proper. This is like edible beer that's crispy and chewy but without the alcohol. What I'm getting from the pretzel here is everything from a bready, biscuity beer. it's so... Only the Germans know how to do this. Oh. Pardon me. Oh. Oh. It's such a German secret, isn't it? Pretzels and beer. You don't see it in the UK. You do not see it at all. It's because our beer, our Carling and our Fosters and our Stellas and our Madries, they're just pathetic, aren't they? They're just really pathetic beers. And it wouldn't matter if you ate a bowl of cheap value fries with a Foster's or a Carling, because it just doesn't matter, does it? It just doesn't matter enough. But when you pair that wonderful maltiness with the beer compared to the wonderful maltiness from the pretzel with the salt, it's a mind-blowing experience. But it's just a simple thing. It's such a simple thing that just works. Now here's my letdown. I would have ignored the salted pretzels and the nuts, as you guys probably know, and I would have bought the look potato fried crisp bratwurst sausage flavour. I've got to stop this. I have to. Oh, mind you. Oh. That tastes like bratwurst sausage. I've got to stop being such a potato boy. My gout in my left foot is screaming at me right now. My God. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with me. These are fantastic. I think it's in our DNA. Don't you think? Even though the nuts and the pretzels made perfect sense, the moment I get a bit of fat in my chops, it's almost like the DNA is taking over. Like that British, like, fatty DNA takes over. Almost driving my car to McDonald's. Currywurst, Aldi, 150 grams. Currywurst sausage. Oh, look at those, look at those. Oh, yeah. A little bit of sausage, a little bit of salt, but mainly like a lovely curry sauce on these crisps. Oh. I was about to say that I prefer the bratwurst sausage. I think I still do, but that last flavour of currywurst flavoured crisps just came through and blew my mind completely. It was always going to end up a bit messy, wasn't it? I was never ever pretending that it was not going to end up a little bit messy. Thanks very much for watching. I've had a fantastic time with you guys today, even though I'm just standing here talking to my phone. Pardon me. You've seen the beers. You've seen me telling you to go and buy the beers. Now it's just up to you. Even if there's still one or two of you out there that have never ever wandered into an Aldi store before, because it might seem a little bit alien to you, get in there and let it blow your mind. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe. Boom, cheers.